Hello, folks. Welcome to the fall semester of Interactive Media, both 1 and 3. My name is Amara Holslander. I am a lecturer in the design program, and I will be teaching both 1 and 3 for the fall semester. So I wanted to give you all a quick introduction to who I am, especially if you're new. Nice to meet you. And then walk you through the syllabi and the Canvas course structure. So let me go ahead and switch my view and we shall get started. All right. Okay, I'm gonna hide that. All right, so as I said, welcome to class. You're gonna see me kind of like switch views here and there because I actually have another monitor here, but I'm still paying attention. I'm talking to you. Cool. All right, so welcome to class. So as I mentioned, I'm the lecturer this semester for interactive design, both 1 and 3. I've been teaching at CU Denver in the digital design program since the spring of 2016. So I'm coming up on my 10-year anniversary, which is wow. I'm currently a senior UX designer at Amazon. I am working on Alexa Plus, which is our new LLM-driven voice assistant experience. I'm working on AI-powered development tools for engineers. I have been tinkering with design in some way, shape, or form since 1996. That's when I was in middle school. Started working on, print design work, learning kind of like photography and things like that. And I've been kind of tinkering with design ever since. I got my bachelor's in art and design from Cal State San Bernardino. That was in 2007. And then eventually, while working in the industry, kind of returned to school for my master's in human computer interaction. That was in 2016. And I did complete that online, and some of my undergrad classes were online. So I'm familiar with the pains of being an online student, and I do my best to make sure that you don't experience them as well. I've worked on some fun things in my career, things like Amazon Go, Alexa, of course, that's the project I'm currently on, and then Star Wars BB-8 toy robot, which I may talk about from time to time, or you can probably Google it, my name, and then find some information.
What would you like me to do about Star Wars?
My Alexa just went off. Hold on, I'm going to need to turn that off. Uh, okay, I've muted it. All right. Cool. Okay, and then you can always look at my profile or my portfolio rather, amara.design. That is publicly available. So if you want to peek at some of the things I've worked on, that's a great place to do it. All right. So I'll tell you a little bit about my teaching philosophy and why some of my assignments and rubrics are kind of like structured the way that they are. So when I went to design school, I had learned a lot of different skills, but I really wanted to focus more on projects that I could use to show off my design skills. And I found that there was a lot of project-based or industry-based work lacking in classes. So you'll see in my classes that we focus a lot on projects, and I do bring in a lot of the industry expectations into the program. I like to model our discussions and assignments after things that I'm currently seeing in the market because my goal is for you to become employable as a UX designer once you graduate. And I do teach Interactive 1, 2, and 3. So ideally, you take all the classes with me if your schedule lines up. But the series of 3 classes is really meant to set you up to be a smash-in, entry-level UX designer. I personally really dislike busy work. I'm busy, you're busy. Um, some of you have jobs, I've got a job. So everything that I assign has a purpose. And I just want to make sure, to the best of your ability that you learn the material. And I do put some emphasis on, group discussions and projects. I do believe that there is an expectation that you'll be able to communicate well online as designers in the industry and be able to work in groups as well. I'm not assigning group projects this semester, but there will be opportunities for you to, critique projects as a group, host discussions online, either asynchronously, so like, people contribute at different times, or you can just host like, a live Zoom meeting with your group to talk about your progress, your perspectives, and things you've got going on in your design project. For the class structure, our semester is 17 weeks long. We subtract 1 week for fall break and then 1 week for finals. The remaining time is broken up into 2 week sprints. I know the math doesn't quite work out, but they're mostly 2 week sprints. And rest assured, all of my classes are structured this way to make things predictable and help you kind of like manage your time a little bit better, especially if you're taking a mix of online classes and offline classes. So I try to keep a predictable schedule. Modules are opened typically on Sundays or Mondays. They're open on Monday mornings at the very, very latest on Monday mornings. Um, and I try to publish a module or two in advance if folks want to work ahead or get a preview. But I try not to publish like everything so it doesn't feel overwhelming to start. So the module structures, I call them sprints now. The sprints are 2 weeks long. Each sprint includes an agenda, so it is a one-pager that explains everything that you need to know and links to all the assignments for that sprint. It'll also include lectures and videos in that agenda, as well as links to your reading requirements, and usually there will be a combination of discussions and assignments. Some weeks may only have assignments, some weeks may only have discussions. Sometimes they'll have both. But anyways, there's just kind of a mix of them based on what we're learning at that time. For the grading breakdown, I break them up into assignments, your critiques and discussions, your finals, and then there's extra credit available always. The assignments are 65% of your grade, critiques and discussions are 15%, and your finals are 20%. They are broken down that way to ensure that you have to participate in each of these in order to pass the class. And you need at least a 74% overall to be able to pass in the major and have it count towards your degree. Good news is that I do drop the lowest discussion grade and the lowest assignment grade, with exception of like the very like final project where you typically write a case study and have like a video presentation. That one I do not excuse, but all the other like incremental check-ins, I do drop the lowest one. But you're always welcome to do some reworks and get get the full grade if you want. So my late policy. So in general, you want to submit your work on time. So your max grade obviously is 100%. You get up to 3 days to submit your assignment without penalty. After 3 days, the max assignment grade is 75%. I recognize that we all have busy schedules, and I also know that this is an online class, and sometimes folks think an online class is easier. This class is probably not easier online. It's probably more difficult, honestly, than the in-person class, just because of the self-drive and motivation that you need to be able to keep yourself on schedule and to get through the material. So if you need an extension on the projects, I provide them. All you have to do is go to the assignment that is upcoming, that is due. In the assignment, post a comment to me saying that you need an assignment extension for whatever reason you have. You will then submit your work at a later time. Typically, I ask for it the first Monday of fall break so that I can take some time during Thanksgiving to catch up on grading. If you tell me ahead of time that you need that extension and you do it by the time the assignment is due, I will still grade for full credit, so there will be no penalty. However, if I don't hear from you, I will apply the late policy that you see here. All right, so drop the lowest grades with the exception of the big one, the big final, big design deliverable. And then you can also redo projects, and you can you have up until the Monday of fall break to submit things for full credit if you tell me ahead of time. So it's pretty good. Okay. So the AI policy for this class, you will find that my courses have kind of been updated to be a lot more AI forward. So I absolutely encourage the use of Gen AI in my classes, and there will always be some components where I will require it as part of your design process and your deliverable. It's very obvious. Don't plagiarize. Don't pretend the work of Gen AI is your own. Um, is there a way for me to detect it? I mean, there are some signs, right? But I'm not going to waste my time or your classmates' time trying to like investigate whether you individually like plagiarized and just used AI and pretended it was your work. It's just not worth anyone's time really to try to chase that down. And it's cliche, but you're only cheating yourself, blah blah blah. But I think something that you have to consider the reality of the job industry that you'll be graduating into, and that there will be plenty of people and companies that try to outsource your work to AI. So do not be the first person to do so. It'll happen anyways. So the best thing you can do to put yourself up for success is to understand the craft, understand the tools, do the best you can with the time that you've got, and just be comfortable learning and designing on the fly. It's something that I do in the industry. I don't know it all. I'm still, learning every single day. So, but I do use AI in my class. I require as part of my as a portion sometimes of the assignments, um, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in some of my future videos. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on explaining, going through the syllabus for class, and then kind of walking you through Canvas to help orient yourself to the platform and how I set up my classes. So, here we go.